UFC middleweight champion Alex Pereira was recently filmed eating a rather unexpected snack in Thailand. Poatan is currently in the land of smiles preparing for his upcoming UFC 287 clash with Ariel Adesanya. Pereira, one of the most prolific kickboxers to ever don the UFC gloves, appears to be immersing himself in Muay Thai ahead of his fourth battle with his longtime nemesis. Thailand has become a popular destination for fighters in recent years, with the likes of UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski and lightweight rising star Rafael Fiziev training at Tiger Muay Thai. During a visit to the Khao San Road in Bangkok, Poatan indulged in some of the area's most eccentric delicacies. Ariel Helwani shares theory as to why Ali Abdelaziz deleted IV-related tweet, while Islam Makhachev did manage to defeat Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 284. There's been a bit of controversy since then. It stems from a tweet by Dan Hooker that suggests Islam illegally used an IV before the fight in order to make weight. Even Volkanovski's coach, Eugene Behrman, had this to say about the cheating allegations.
The only reason I could tell, the only reason I'm going to even repeat this, and Dan's going to, I advise Dan against even talking about it.
Right.
Look, that, as you can see, that information has holes in it. That's what I'm alluding to. Okay, but it also, there's enough information there to be like, this is why Alex and the rest of the team are laughing, because we're like, man, something's going on there. We just don't, we just can't reliably say what it is.
Ali Abdelaziz, Makhachev's manager, came out and refuted these claims. He noted that he was planning on exposing everybody. After deleting his remarks, mixed martial arts journalist Ariel Helwani had a sense as to why he did so. Yes, he deleted it because someone, I would think, told him he was incriminating himself with this tweet. You can't take 2 to 3 liters by a professional or not. It's 100 milliliters per 12 hours, among other details. Massive difference. Islam Makhachev's IV controversy leads UFC to clarify rules. The UFC's Senior Vice President of Athlete Health and Performance has sought to clarify the ruling on the use of intravenous infusions, IVs, following allegations of wrongdoing made against Islam Makhachev. On Twitter, Jeff Nowitzki noted an adjustment to the rule regarding the use of IVs in 2019, a change that he insisted all fighters and their managers had been made aware of. UFC anti-doping program's IV rule was modified in 2019. Nowitzki explained, athletes, managers, and support have received multiple advisories on this rule change beginning in 2019. All UFC ADP rules have been publicly posted since 2015. He then goes on to say that IVs can in fact be used as a means to combat dehydration following a weight cut, providing a licensed physician has justified the practice and performs it. That means Makhachev won't have been in violation if a licensed medical professional provided him with an IV during UFC 284 fight week. Before we continue, don't forget to visit our website and subscribe to our free newsletter so you can stay up to date with everything that goes on in the world of the UFC in minutes. Click the information link above. And while you are at it, check out our podcast and social media accounts. Thank you for your support. Now let's get back to the news. Islam Makhachev addresses possibility of Alexander Volkanovski rematch. UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev has suggested that the ball is in the promotion's court when it comes to a possible rematch with Alexander Volkanovski. During an interaction with the media upon his arrival back in Dagestan, footage of which was uploaded and translated by Red Corner MMA, Makhachev answered queries about the next step in his lightweight reign. When asked whether he'd be open to accepting Volkanovski's request for a rematch, Makhachev noted that he'll happily share the octagon with whomever the UFC puts in front of him. I'm not going to wait for anybody or call anybody out. I'll be ready as soon as the UFC gives me an opponent. Makhachev said, take a look.
Я не говорю, кое-что, значит, раньше я не буду кого-то ждать, кого-то вызывать. если достойный соперник, если UFC хотят кого-то поставить рядом, или реванш, или кто-то из настоящих претендентов.
UFC fans react to Conor McGregor checking leg kicks while shadowboxing upon tough return. UFC superstar Conor McGregor is making his highly awaited comeback in the upcoming season of The Ultimate Fighter. The Irishman will coach TUF 31 opposite Michael Chandler, with the duo set to face each other in the season finale. A recent video of the Irishman shadowboxing in front of TUF memorabilia has landed him in the crosshairs of Twitter trolls. Take a look. Reacting to the footage, Twitter user Jimbo Samso trolled the Irishman, saying, "Please God tell me that's a deep fake." Daniel Cormier responds to John Jones' thumbs up for UFC 285 commentary. The John Jones and Daniel Cormier rivalry was one of the most bitter in UFC history, with the two once even having a physical altercation at a pre-fight face-off. The feud was certainly not short on trash talk either, with the fighters constantly trading barbs at one another, even when one or both fighters were not in active competition. Cormier now serves as a color commentator for UFC events and also has become a vocal media personality on current events happening across the sport. After Jones granted his approval for Cormier to commentate his upcoming fight against Gane, Cormier took the time to respond. "I'll be honest with you, it's kind of nice hearing a fighter acknowledge that even with our history, he believes that I can do him justice and do the job fairly. Because I've done it before," Cormier said. Listen closely.
How do I take this? This particular tweet, which at times feels like a compliment, but also can be interpreted as a bit of a dig, considering, at times people call me biased in my commentary and all this other stuff, when in reality, we all have a built-in home bias for people that we care about. This is nothing new. So when I'm talking about Islam and those guys, I truly believe that I try so hard not to be biased that I go the other way. So all my teammates are generally pretty upset with me when I call their fights. But again, it's about Jones and how do I take this. First, guys, just for the record, I don't really need permission to call someone's fight.
That's all for today's video. If you want to know the latest UFC news, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell, and click the like button so you don't miss any details about the upcoming fights. Thanks for watching. See you soon.